Greetings from the side of the road. I hope you are all well. I'm doing fine. I'm watching way too much news about Ukraine. Not something I recommend, but it's interesting as hell. Things have just gone wild the last month or two. Ukraine had this big offensive where they took a lot of ground at huge cost in terms of human life and material. And now the line seems to have stabilized. Russia is mobilizing hundreds of thousands of men, sinking them into Ukraine, territory that we used to refer to as Ukraine, but Russia held this referendum, and now it's part of Russia. And people will say that's not legitimate, but I'm not sure legitimacy plays a role in geopolitics. Power is what decides things, and Russia had the power to declare these areas part of Russia. So unless God or the aliens come take them away or whatever, it's Russia for the time being. It doesn't look like Ukraine's going to be taking it back. So, and here's where it starts to get interesting, right? So this cat at NATO, his name is Stoltenburg. He is in a competition to see who can say the stupidest shit about Ukraine and the conflict there. Mr. Stoltenberg is without a doubt the guy who should get the gold medal in this. He came out and said that a victory for Russia and Ukraine is a defeat for NATO. Surprise! I bet you didn't realize that NATO was at war in Ukraine. Because, I mean, you kind of have to be directly involved in the conflict to be defeated. Well, it's probably the most honest thing to come out of Mr. Stoltenberg's mouth, it's also one of the stupidest. It puts us directly in conflict with Russia. Russia's not going to lose. They're not. This is existential for them. And if NATO comes in, NATO is filled with people who are willing to, go nuclear. Let's see if we can do this. These are some batshit crazy motherfuckers right there, okay? So we don't want to do this. We need an off-ramp for everybody. Because it doesn't matter where you stand on Ukraine. Nuclear war, I think we can agree that's a bad day for everyone. But there's no out. Because if Russia and NATO are going head to head, it just keeps going until boom. So we need a way to avoid the boom. And there may be a way. Lately, there's been a lot of talk about Iranian drones being used in Ukraine. And everyone's got their panties in a bunch about Iran supplying weapons to Russia for this conflict. See, because NATO can do that kind of thing with Ukraine. But if Iran does it, that's crossing a line. I don't want to explain this because it doesn't make any fucking sense. But this seems to be the rule. And as any of y'all know, if you follow geopolitics and you're older than 30 years old, the United States has been itching to engage in Iran forever. This could be a reason. And as things start to bubble down and Russia starts to clean up its mess in Ukraine and the weapons from NATO are starting to trickle off and go away, and Ukraine's running out of ammo, shit's hitting the fan for them. If there was a big distraction in Iran, it might give the opportunity to quietly clean things up in Ukraine. Russia takes Odessa, takes back part of Kharkiv, draws the line. All these places become part of Russia. Unfortunately, I think it's probably going to mean that President Zelensky gets a 75-cent solution, as Scott Ritter put it. They put in a government that's more compliant, not going to join NATO, going to stay neutral. And now we have the Iran war, something the warmongers have wanted forever. Everybody's happy, except the Iranians and those who care about peace. Try work for it, y'all. Aloha.